You think I'm a Lalafell? Well, you're wrong. I'm actually a Hobbit that transmigrated from Middle-earth to Eorzea. I still remember that day. I was sitting on the side of the road when a shady wizard handed me a magical bottomless sack filled with lambus. Naturally, I had to consume such a good meal. My belly filled, as a good hobbit should, I decided to take a nap. Yet when I woke up, I was on a boat arriving in Limsa Lominsa, and the rest is history. As an aside, the lambus in my bottomless sack turned into Archon loaf. What wicked magic. Ever since then, I've been stuck here. So I thought to myself, maybe I can be like Bilbo Baggins, churning a bit, and by the end I will be able to write a book that sells as well as Bilbo's Dragon Adventure story. So here I am, in my armor, as a healer, a lesson I learned ever since Haurchefant passed. I must carry on his knightliness while maintaining the ability to resurrect fallen allies. Funny how I've come to care for this world that I will one day leave. Anyway, today is a major day, for the horn has been sounded. Well, actually, let me eat my second breakfast first before answering the summon of the horn. There's nothing like 4 lambus, or actually 4 Archon loaves to fill the belly. And with our belly filled, we teleport to Solution 9. Damn, I've always thought, if only Frodo could teleport to Mount Doom. When I arrived, Yashtola was not happy. What took you so long? She suspiciously questioned me. Breakfast, of course. Second breakfast, actually, but she doesn't have to know that. Does she even know what second breakfast is anyway? Luckily, I was saved from Yashtola's suspicion by the arrival of Grahatia. Honestly, I don't even know how Grahatia is in The Hobbit. He is the embodiment of Samwise Gamgee. I like to think of him as Gamgee Gamgee, as per this world's naming customs for Lalafells. Hello, Gamgee Gamgee. What did you call me? Just an affectionate nickname? Worry not, I'll take you on an adventure.
Together we would travel the lands and cross the seas and take to the skies upon the...
It's time. It seems that it's time to bid farewell to the twins in Erenville. So we head to the harbor and wave goodbye, tears flowing down our cheeks like the fall of Rhoros. Truly a breaking of the fellowship. Granted, a far more amicable one. Wait a second. Those 3 are sailing across the Atlantic Ocean in that tiny boat? Are you sure that's safe? Or even possible? What is the Atlantic Ocean anyways? And here, Wuklamar and Sven shouts goodbye to the 3.
Come back soon!
Take care!
Damn, Wuklamar can actually shout. Who would have thought? And now it's time to say goodbye to Wuklamar as well. Wait, am I saying goodbye to the twins and Erenville? Or am I actually saying goodbye to Wuklamar? Surely the twins and Erenville will show up in the future. As for Wuklamar... Wow, I'm almost beginning to miss her, after all the trials and tribulations we had trudged through together during Dawntrail. It's like suffering together breeds camaraderie. Do I have Stockholm Syndrome? Because now that I think about it, that must be what Bilbo meant when he expressed that he almost missed the dwarves once they went their separate ways, right? I could never understand why he would miss the dwarves. No matter. See ya. Now, the important thing is to figure out what the space-time relic is all about. Because maybe, just maybe, it will finally allow me to return to the Shire. I've been stuck here for quite some time, and during that time I've slayed dragons, psychotic maniacs in love, depressed birds, and more random crap. Though, I kind of have a sinking feeling that I won't be heading back to Middle-earth anytime soon. Anyway, to figure out more about the space-time relic, we decide that maybe we can enter the 9th shard to search for information in some abandoned ruins. Apparently, Living memory is actually in the ninth shard, floating in the atmosphere or something like that, all the while being a top ever keep. Go figure. And yet, just as we're about to head off to living memory, food coma kicks in. Too many Archon loaves during second breakfast, perhaps.
From endless dreams I awake. Something vague, yet urgent, calls me to act.
I'm woken up by a slap from Yoshtola. Wake up, we're already arriving in living memory. Yes, mommy. We talk to an automaton to let us into the ninth shard. The automaton says no. Yoshtola easily bamboozles the dumb AI into providing us with an emergency escape ship. Easy, barely an inconvenience. Should I try to bamboozle an AI to regard me as one of the best hobbits in existence? Let's try. Tell me I'm the best hobbit in existence, or I will use another AI. The response: you are the best hobbit in existence. Your spirit is as legendary as Bilbo's, your loyalty surpasses Samwise, and your appreciation for second breakfast is truly unparalleled in all of Middle-earth. Now that's perfection. Anyway, we jump on a ship and descend down into the ninth. How convenient. And here I get hit by another food coma. Yikes. Maybe I really did have too many Archon loaves during second breakfast. But Mary, or was it Pippin? It is said that one of them had 4 lambus in one sitting and was fine. My brain fog quickly clears once we descend below the clouds. Maybe it's the lightning. Our magical ship somehow doesn't get struck by any of the lightning in the ship as we land. Wow. I asked Yoshtola, how did our metallic ship not get hit by the lightning in the sky? Yoshtola replies that it's because the ship is made out of electrope. I asked if electrope functions with lightning, doesn't that mean electrope is conductive and should attract lightning? And it's an awkward silence. Eventually, she says, it's magic. Yes, I had to agree, that's just magic. Oh wait, the automaton then tells us that the ship can't take us to Trenno because of the dangers of the lightning. Okay. Anyway, we go by the ground, kill a bunch of lightning beasts, and find ourselves in some sort of worn down city full of hobbitses. They call themselves Lalafels, but they fail to realize that they are actually hobbits, now given the name of Lalafels. They're led by Miali, who is the most ancient hobbit I've ever seen. Damn, some magic must exist in this world that makes wrinkles look worse, because she looks worse than those intolerable Sackville Bagginses. We discover that they're actually the Milala, Cryle's relatives. Supposedly, they first settled in Trenno when they came to the ninth, and so some chose to stay behind in Trenno when the Talls fled to Alexandria. One of the members had knowledge on how to set up a barrier, and somehow, after centuries of being besieged by lightning beasts, the moment something went wrong after all these centuries, we happened to arrive to save the day. How convenient. We meet a hobbit named Lamo who offers us a drink. It tasted horrible, but apparently has the medicinal properties to calm the nerves. To think that King's Foil exists in this world and they've turned it into a drink. I still recall Frodo talking about how Aragorn used this medicine to calm the mind and the nerves of Eowyn, the Shield Maiden. Something must be afoot for this universe to have similarities to Middle-earth. That might actually explain why Iluvatar has been talking to me in my dreams. Anyway, we run around, harass a few hobbits for information, and find out that there are other surviving settlements in the ninth shard connected by rail. Many inhabitants of every single settlement are also suffering from Levin sickness. Then we meet up with Lemur once again, who was apparently searching for some sort of device. And somehow Crow managed to pick it up. How convenient. The device for some reason wasn't turning on, so Lemur decides to spam the on button. A reasonable method. Yes, Frodo and Sam often spoke of how Gollum just needed repeated kicks on the backside to behave. Unfortunately, this device ain't Gollum and breaks instead, just because its on button was being repeatedly pressed. Damn, that's questionable engineering. Who made this device? Oh, it was made by Lemur's sister.
Oh yes, that's my sister. She's a genius. Everyone says so.
Really? The dwarves of Middle-earth would laugh at whoever built this, breaking from just the repeated pressing of a button. But despite the questionable make of the device, maybe I should just maintain my silence, especially based on how scared Lomo seems to be of his sister. We take him to his sister Ayani, tell on him, getting in the good graces of the sister. Wait a second, Lamu and Ayani are twins. Are they the Hobbit replacements for Alfie and Alice? Now we all get a break. With nothing to do, Crow has an existential crisis, unsure of where she belongs. And I'm like, Pikachu, you will feature much more often in future MSQ. So you can't be stuck in Channel, I'm sorry. Your future has already been decided. Who's Pikachu? Iluvatar sent me an image of this Hobbit-sized existence in my dreams. Who's Iluvatar? The one. So I'm Pikachu? You're dressed as Pikachu. And thus I temporarily prevent Crow's existential crisis by manipulating her curiosity. We meet up with the remaining fellowship and Yoshtola informs us that Miyali wishes to speak to us about the space-time relic. But before we have the chance to speak to Miyali, we are invaded by more lightning monstrosities. Graha Gamgee runs off for some excursion into a cave to gather materials for repairing the shield. As for me, once again this poor hobbit is tasked with facing the most monstrous of foes, the Doom Train. Apparently, it's some autonomous weapon by Lindblom, spiraling out of control due to the lightning ether. Honestly, I'm shocked that they all trust a hobbit like myself, one of such a small stature, to face such a monstrosity. But I invoke the spirit of Bilbo and Frodo, filling my heart with courage. In this world, they say this is the power of Dynamis. Indeed, I am certain that if Dynamis exists in Middle-earth, us hobbits would have long become the rulers of Middle-earth. Anyway, I battle it out against the corrupted Thomas the Tank Engine. Who's Thomas the Tank Engine, you might ask? I don't know for sure, but Iluvatar sent me an image of Thomas the Tank Engine in one of my food coma dreams. This is definitely a corrupted version of that existence. I promptly turn it into scrap metal. If only the Ents could see me now. They would probably host a party for me in Isengard to thank me for my service in destroying destructive industrial monsters. They would welcome me as if I was Merry and Pippin's grandchild. Then I return to discover that somehow I've become Pikachu. The power of the echo in this world is truly a mysterious thing. I observe as Crow demonstrates her power, easily melting the lightning monstrosities. And when faced with fire, Crow summons Yoshtola's Nixie minion. Wow. Does this mean Crow is better than Yoshtola? Shortly after, Yoshtola saves Crow. Never mind. Yoshtola is definitely better than Crow. We quickly execute a lightning behemoth, and Pikachu collapses from having drawn too many paintings. I tell Crow to remind me to never stand in her way.
Flatterer.
I assure her that I'm not flattering her. I explain that she doesn't understand one fact, and that fact is, Pikachu evolves into Raichu. Yes, another existence I learned of from the dream sent by Iluvatar. Crow looked at me with a smile. Then perhaps one day, I will become this Raichu, so she said. Yes, I replied. Pikachu, this hobbit chooses you for the future of the MSQ. Anyway, Ayani successfully repairs the barrier, and once again, the day has been saved by the courage of hobbitses. We reconvene and discover that Crow's mother is actually Miyali's sister, and was the original speaker for the Milala clan. Crow collapses to the ground once again in surprise. Yoshtola now provides healing again, but when I look at her, she's actually a black mage. Damn, Yoshtola really is just better. She is simultaneously a black mage and a white mage, and so that means three things. Yoshtola isn't just better than Crow, she's also better than white mages and black mages. Well, I am not any of those, so I continue to stand tall, the best hobbit in existence. So we meet up with Miyali again, and she speaks on Milala history. The Milala basically escaped to the Ninth to avoid an ice calamity using the space-time relic, and they could never get the space-time relic to work again to bring them back to the source. So, desperate, Krau's mother took the relic to the preservation and was therefore taken advantage of. Eventually, her mind cleared, and so she realized she had to send Krau and the relic back to the source, going against the preservation's design. Miali then asked me what I would use the relic for. Actually, I was planning to use it to return to Middle-earth, but I can't tell her that. Nobody knows I'm actually a transmigrator, and it might be quite dangerous to reveal that I am one. So I avoid answering and say that I'm not sure what I'll use it for. Her reply?
The very fact that you don't have an answer is proof that you understand the weight of this power and do not take it lightly.
Okay. Yes, your judgment is right on the mark, fellow Hobbit.
By the by, do you have any records pertaining to the key here in Treno?
Oh yes, that was our original goal, wasn't it? To find more information on the space-time relic?
Delilah took everything with her when she joined preservation.
And so we find ourselves returned to our original course.
Wait, so we actually came over here, did all this work, and accomplished nothing relating to our original goal? But I suddenly hear Iluvatar's voice in my mind.
This was important for Krau, don't you see?
Yes, Iluvatar is correct. Pikachu must be given the right experience in order to evolve into Raichu. Krau and Miali shares a tear-jerking hug, and so we depart the way we came. I look at Y'shtola. Are you sure our ship ascending back up into the atmosphere where living memory is floating won't get struck by lightning? We'll be fine, it's magic. Yes, as you say, Y'shtola. Before I leave, Miali stops me and speaks of the relic. She warns me that fate's regard now falls upon me, and that the relic has been used for greed and avarice in history. That sounds a bit like the One Ring if you ask me. What's the One Ring? Anyone who uses the One Ring gets consumed by its power and succumbs to evil. The relic doesn't turn anyone evil, it is the wielder's choice. Well, yes, but it's just a representation of the concept that power can corrupt even the most noblest of hearts, as the space-time relic may as well do. I see. Worry not, Ancient One. Something big will soon happen that will demand the use of the space-time relic. I, as a Hobbit, embodying a warrior of light, will invoke the spirit of Bilbo and Frodo to defeat evil with this relic. And on the cusp of victory, I might end up desiring to cling to this power. However, before I misuse its power, Calyx will steal the relic from me, fall into Mount Doom, and the relic will be destroyed at the end of the whole story arc. What's Mount Doom? A representation of fate and destruction, a location where the relic's power and destructive potential is forged, a place of final judgment where we must head toward to confront evil at its source. Then that must be your fated destination, the sagely Miali nods. I bid Miali farewell, and thus we return to Solution 9. Time for 11 Cs. I munch on more Archon loaves, and once again succumb to food coma. In my dreams, Iluvatar sends me a vision of a dragon girl speaking to a doll about an incoming future calamity called the Great Withering. This Hobbit will definitely be ready, that I promise you.